Ever pondered about the importance of the G20 summit and why it matters to you? Let's unravel the mystery. The G20, or Group of 20, is a crucial forum. It brings together finance ministers, central bank governors, and heads of state from 19 countries and the European Union. Remarkably, these countries account for an astonishing 85% of the world's gross domestic product. Now, why should this matter to you? Because the decisions made at these summits shape the global economic landscape and impact citizens worldwide, from New York to New Delhi. Now, let's dive into the story of India's journey to its presidency at the G20 summit. India's journey to its G20 presidency is a tale of diplomacy, determination, and strategic alliances. Our story begins at the G20 summit in Indonesia. Here, Prime Minister Narendra Modi navigated the global stage with grace and grit. In the midst of global and regional developments, Modi held meaningful discussions with US President Joe Biden. Their conversations centered on the close cooperation between India and the United States, particularly within international groupings like the Quad and the IN2U2. A significant part of this journey involved managing strained relations with China, a delicate task given the border clashes between the two nations in 2020. Despite these challenges, Modi exchanged courtesies with Chinese President Xi Jinping, demonstrating India's commitment to maintaining diplomatic relations. The narrative moves next to a bilateral meeting with British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. The focus here was on enhancing trade ties between the two nations, with discussions around a potential UK-India free trade deal. The emphasis on strengthening these ties underlines India's strategic approach to its role within the G20, and then came the momentous transition. From the sprawling archipelago of Indonesia, the presidency of the G20 was passed on to India. This marked a significant milestone in the nation's global standing. With more than 200 meetings planned across 50 cities, India now has the opportunity to influence global responses to crises, transitioning from a rule-taker to a rule-maker. With the baton passed to India, the world watches as the country steps up to the plate. So, what's on the horizon with India at the helm of the G20? As the newly appointed president of this influential group, India is set to make some significant strides. At the core of their presidency, India aims to transition from being a rule-taker to a rule-maker, stepping up to shape the international response to crises. In line with this, the country plans to focus on a raft of global challenges. These include the ever-pressing issue of climate change, the ongoing threat of terrorism, and the management of pandemics, which have become a stark reality in our contemporary world. This ambitious agenda underscores India's commitment to fostering international cooperation, a crucial ingredient in addressing these multifaceted problems. Looking ahead, we can anticipate a flurry of activity leading up to the G20 summit, slated to take place in New Delhi in September 2023. This event is expected to bring together finance ministers, central bank governors, and heads of state from across the globe, symbolizing India's central role on the world stage. As India takes on this pivotal role, the world anticipates a shift in the global dynamics. Stay tuned as we continue to delve into the unfolding story of India's G20 presidency.